Hi, I'm Dave Poles.
And I'm Danielle Lewis.
Welcome to our Community Conversations podcast.
In our series of conversations, we will be spotlighting individuals and organizations who are doing fantastic things in Peoria County.
We'll be highlighting who they are, what they do, where you can find them, and even how you can help.
Welcome and thanks everyone for joining our community conversation with Michelle Taylor. She is Vice President of Education at Children's Home Association of Illinois.
Michelle is in charge of several different programs that they have, and she's been very gracious to spend some time talking with us about Children's Home and specifically the programs that she's in charge with. If you could just give a brief summary of your program and the organization you serve.
Sure. Thanks for having me. So my role is to oversee 2 schools in our education program. Our agency has 5 main programs, and education is one of those programs. And we have 2 separate
non-public therapeutic day schools.
Kiefer School and the Academy for Autism. Both schools serve students age kindergarten through 22. We do have a pretty wide range of disability categories that Kiefer School serves. And then what we call AFA, short for Academy for Autism, sounds just like what the name implies. We serve students who have autism. We do serve some other disability categories. We do have some students with developmental delay as well as autism. We receive referrals from public school districts when their resources have been exhausted and their students might need some deeper supports than what they can offer.
Outstanding. Thank you. So, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Could really center though. I mean, everybody loves their core mission. Could you give us just a brief, the mission statement you have? I mean, what is it that really, truly you want to accomplish and all those great things you just told us about?
So the mission of our organization is to help the kids and families who need it the most. And basically what that means is our philosophy of care is that there's a future that we can all believe in. So if there's something that I could express to the community, the greater Peoria community, it's that's what we do at Children's Home, is that we provide a culture of care. We believe that our kids and families do have a future that is bright, and we do everything that we can to support, their struggles along the way and help guide them in the best way that we can through those 5 main programs, education being one of those.
Well, I couldn't agree more. It's interesting. Those of us who are familiar with the Peoria area, I mean, Children's Home is more than that big, massive brick building you drive by. It's been there forever. And I know those of us who have been in the community, involved with the community, certainly appreciate the programs. And I think that that's a great part of what we're doing today is, if you will, demystifying what exactly happens there. Because again, as you very well said, Michelle, it's more than just a big, massive building where kids go, right? And that leads me, I think, to my next one. What would you say is your biggest challenge to your core mission?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. Probably our biggest challenge is we want to help everyone because of the number of referrals that we get in some of our programs, and foster care is an example of one of those programs. We have a large number of referrals, and helping as many kids and families as we can is our top priority. And, it's an exhaustive mission where we try to get those family support services as soon as possible. So, we feel like we can't work fast enough sometimes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
That makes sense.
I
Yeah.
can only imagine, and I imagine the frustration you must feel with that too. So, you talked a little bit about reaching so many people. Would there be a dream sort of focus you could have?
For my program,
Yes.
yeah. So I would love to have a larger building with all sorts of green space and that sort of thing. And, we explored that possibility and there just isn't anything available.
Right.
So, our current plan is to renovate the building that we're in and just make this up to date, bringing in all of those wonderful out of the classroom areas like a sensory gym
Mhm.
and multiple sensory areas within the entire building and providing those wraparound services that we already have in the building, but just better spaces to do some of those things that we're really taking. That's our major project that we're working on right now.
Yeah, no, Michelle, you hit on something right there. Are
Yeah.
there plans to just recently expanding that whole physical plant along the building and perhaps some of the areas around there? Is there any plans to expand the location?
We would love to. So we are
Yeah.
continually looking to
Okay.
expand. Yes.
Good, good.
So
So that brings it up to anybody out there with money and a winning lottery ticket. We know where we can best spend it. Yeah.
absolutely.
So
Yes.
yeah, that's great. One of the things that we always like to allow our community partners here is to tell us the best way they can access your resources.
Sure. So we have a fabulous website that can be accessed at chail.org. That's CHAIL.org.
Okay.
All of our program links are on that page. There's a resources tab. You can explore how to make donations on that website. You can explore our current community-based activities. You can explore what each program offers through that website.
So those listening, please go to that website and take a look at all the great things that are happening there too. How about upcoming events? Anything coming up that you'd like us to really focus on?
Sure. So we have two main events throughout the year, and that's our cattle auction
Oh,
and our Maui Gym golf outing,
and they're
where
both great, great. I'm very
right,
familiar with both of those, and they're wonderful. So,
largely attended both
mhm.
events, and that helps us support our programs. Um, we also have a campaign coming up called Futures Worth Fighting For. That's a media blitz campaign featuring some of our youth and their families that we like to highlight those success stories.
Okay,
So that's an upcoming campaign that you can look for.
wonderful. What's something that your organization has made a great impact in the community? Can you think of a time or an event or a success story that maybe really puts this podcast into reality for a lot of people?
Sure, I can share a Kiefer School success story. And we had a collaboration on a student we were serving with our prevention services program. So um, we had a Kiefer student, female student, who came to us with some pretty significant trauma history and, was needing some more services that perhaps weren't available in her school district. And I remember meeting this individual the first day that she arrived to Kiefer, and she did not want to even come into the school. She was very
Yeah.
hesitant, not trusting of adults, had great interactions with kids. You could see that she was just a bright light for sure, but just not trusting of adults. So, we didn't press the issue of, hey, you need to get in the building right now, that sort of thing. We worked with her and talked her through it and, started talking about some of her interests. Hey, we see, you like helping these younger students, and talk to us about that. What's that like for you? And, what are some of your interests? So when we get a student that's new to our program, we don't jump into the academics right away. We don't jump into placing demands right away. We really get to know the students and meet them where they are. So if they're struggling with trauma, that's where we start. And if they're struggling with mental health issues, that's where we start. We have a full team of clinical therapists. We have a behavior intervention team who um, is excellent at co-regulating with our students when they're, a little dysregulated. And so that's kind of where we start. We pair with those students and get to know them first and gain their trust in that way. But this young lady, she came a long way. She was able to keep up with her high school coursework. She was able to keep on track with her credits her entire time with us, and she did end up pregnant while she was a student here. So we worked with our prevention services, who, as you know, provide support for young mothers. And through our Good Beginnings program, our home visiting program, we have community doulas, we have prenatal classes, um, groups, those sorts of services for our pregnant mothers. And we knew that she was going to be missing some school. And we worked with ISB actually to work out a plan between Kiefer and her home school district so that she could continue working on her coursework while she was on leave. So we prepared weekly packets for her. We have Kiefer set up with Google Classroom. Um, we had a weekly drop-in visit with this individual, and um, she stayed up with the coursework through all of that.
Mhm.
Our prevention services provided support in home for her and were there for the birth of her baby. She engaged very well with our prevention services. She, recognized some of the signs of depression after some mothers will have after birth, and let her home visiting caseworker know that that's what she was experiencing. She even started a part-time job, started enrolling in driver's training so that, she could participate fully in taking her baby to the doctor and doing those sorts of things, and making sure that she was taking care of herself as well. So she became an advocate for herself as well during this time. And she met all of her program goals for Kiefer and has since returned to her home district. And she's on track to graduate.
Wow. I got to tell you, Michelle, listening to that, kind of in awe, almost chills. I was counting. I don't think you didn't you mentioned no fewer than six different programs that Children's Home allows a person to just become their full potential, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of in awe listening, and I hope anybody else listening too. I mean, my goodness gracious, what a great cornerstone to reach kids that are, gosh, and families too, in the most needed times of their lives, and not just once, right? As you were talking, I
Yeah.
think just to emphasize this again from the beginning when you're as low as you possibly could, all the way through the success story, and then again creating, which is what we do here, community partnerships, right? And allowing them to reach potential in whatever that potential may be. So thank you, and that is a huge success. You know, we've talked a little bit today too, and you've given us a ton of things of what Children's Home is and the programs specifically that you work with. But what's one thing that you wish somebody knew about your organization? My slogan for you is more than a brick building. So there we go. There's one.
We are more than a brick
Yeah,
building.
yeah.
So, I mean, I know we've talked a lot about those five main
Hmm.
programs. I mean, which is prevention, our community-based program,
Yeah,
which is the Leaders of Tomorrow, the
right.
mental health, juvenile justice, our comprehensive community-based youth services. We have clinical services um, that include tri-county child and adolescent
Hmm.
services. We have school-based therapy through
Right.
collaboration with Peoria Public Schools, Washington District 51, and Pekin Public Schools. We have a family-based intervention services, intensive placement services, mobile crisis response when, youth are in psychiatric distress. We have caregiver connections, pathways to success. Our placement services include our residential facility that's located on Plank Road. That's our youth farm
Yep.
campus. We have supervised independent living. We have several young adult supervised living homes. We have foster care services, intact family services, and then of course education, which we've already talked about. But I think the one thing that really impacted me when I first came to the children's home. I'm a transplant from Indiana. My husband grew up here. So when our kids left home, we had the opportunity to come help my mother-in-law. So we came to Peoria, and I interviewed for quite a few positions, but Children's Home really stood out for me because it's
Yeah.
a mission-driven organization, and there's a culture of care here that just kind of grabs you when you walk in the door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. It's interesting you said that, Michelle. If I could reemphasize that, I think number one, you captured perfectly what you wish people would know. Native Peorian that I am, I've always talked to people and they ask me, Peoria is one of the most giving communities. I mean, we, set records in a lot of things. And I think one reason we love talking to you today is that Children's Home is one of those. You mentioned Good Beginnings, for instance, right? All the way through Pathways to Success. I mean, it's very possible that a person's affected for multiple decades through the wonderful work that Children's Home does. As a retired educator myself, Youth Farm has been a big part of some work that I've helped with and done. And so, anyway, to conclude, the programs you've mentioned today touch every piece of our community, not just our
Mhm.
local community, but beyond. And I think that's why my last point is how can we help you connect your mission to the community as a whole? That's why we're here today.
Well, just share what we've talked about today. I mean, a lot
And
of
we will do
people
that
do
with
think
great
we're
vigor. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people do think we're just that brick building on Knoxville, and
Hmm.
we now have a new building close to the American Red Cross. We have
Yeah.
That's where our behavioral health and our prevention services are moving to. So they're expanding their services. They're
Yeah.
closer to the hospitals and closer to our youth that we serve. So
I think that's an interesting point too, Michelle. That corridor in Knoxville there is becoming, you think about it, with the great work you do, truly anchors everything all the way down to the hospitals and all the patient, inpatient and outpatient they do. And not just, medical care, but youth services. And it's definitely a symbiotic role. Michelle, is there anything else that you'd want to conclude with?
thank you for helping get the word out there. I appreciate the conversation and the opportunity to talk about Children's Home and education in particular.
Yeah. And that's what we're all passionate about.